Good morning, everybody. I'm Dale, and today we're going through my predictions for the qualifying of the Australian Open, the men's side. Now, it's going to be going through the draw very quickly, going through who my picks are and why, and other kind of like potential players in those little brackets. So let's start off with the first one. And originally, my pick, Hunfman, has actually got into the main draw. So I had to do some changing this morning, and I've gone for the Portuguese player Rocha, Henrik Rocha. Now, he's not necessarily in great form. Like Canberra, he lost. However, he has won challenges recently in Asia and Japan a couple of months ago. At the end of the last season, he won a hardcore challenger, and he's been pretty consistent there. He's also an up-and-comer. I think he's like 20, 21 years old. He's been getting some decent results. He won a couple of rounds on US Open qualifying. And in this section, I don't think there's anyone else who's really screaming out for it. I think Sekulic is a bit of a wild card here, literally as well. He's an Aussie player coming back from injury. He's won rounds of 4 at ATP level in Asia on hard courts. So if he can get his stuff together, you never know. Also, Hassan from Lebanon, always a risk there. And big shout out to Reis da Silva, João from Brazil, the first openly gay player to play qualifying. He had great results on clay. Yet to be proven on hard court, but hey, if he beats Rocha, you never know. He might be the first one to make the main draw. Okay, moving on to the next bracket here, and I don't know how to say Guy or Guia's name from France, but he is my pick. He just won the Namia title, so he's in good form here, and there's no one else screaming out for it here. Look, Lloyd Harris is fantastic. He's really good, but he's still sort of coming back from things, so it's a little bit of an unknown. Peniston, I think, could be the other one to possibly get here. But on that form and on this bracket of no one else screaming out here, I've gone for him. Moving down now, Basilashvili is always a risk. Who knows which version is going to rock up? Herbert is there as well. Very, very talented, and also young Norwegian coming through. Now, I've gone for James McCabe here, the Aussie. Not because he's Australian, but look, that's going to have some benefit being at home. He's also one of Australia's top young ones coming through, and he just had a really good semi-final run in Canberra, where he made the semi-finals, losing to blockx in 3 sets, who went on to win the title. Now, James made the second round of the Australian Open last year, so he can play on the surface. He is a good up-and-coming player, and I think he can get past here. But I think there's a few who could do it, particularly Budkov from Norway. He just played next-gen finals. But I don't know, his loss into blockx is very straightforward in Canberra, so I got my question marks there. So I'm going for James McCabe in this section. Now, moving on down, I've gone for Zheng. Now, Zheng's got Cruz Hewitt first up, which I think he'll dispatch of very easily. Barrios Vera is probably the question mark here. And the next part down, I don't think they're screaming out quality. Klein obviously has been good in the past, but I'm not sure he'll get through here. Young up and coming with Zheng, I don't know, like he made the Namia semi-finals. He won the Tiburon Challenger on hardcourt before coming to Australia. So good form, up and comer. I'm going for him. I almost regret my choice here. It's like looking to this morning and going, why did I pick Neumeier? But you know what? Go with your first instinct here. A lot of players here are up in the air. Who knows if Dan Evans is playing as great? Sakamoto is a very young player. Colton Smith, we don't know where he's at as well, but he's probably the one that I'd probably change it to now. Can play on hard, is up and coming, looks good, could get through, or could just be out. Same with Holt. Who knows where Holt's at as well? A lot of these players haven't played for a while, so it is very tricky to pick, I think, this section. Zeppieri can play. Like anyone, I feel, can qualify here. And for some reason, I think Neumeier, he had a couple of wins in Canberra qualifying. So there's a little bit of form there, and his stats look pretty good, I think, from memory. So that's my kind of random pick, and I'm not super confident on that one. Going down to this section, and yeah, there's some good players in here. I think it comes down to, look, Mmoh just played really well in Hong Kong, but I always worry about that. I just kind of don't know if that's going to translate. And Draxel, he's playing well. He's playing very, very well and up and coming again. But I've gone for McDonald here, and he has to get some past some decent players. Popko, Galan could be the one as well. McDonald just played United Cup. Well, he didn't play. He was there with the team. And I think that always kind of helps in a way. He made a challenger final on hard court in Korea towards the end of last year. He was winning a lot of matches in ATP qualifying against decent players at a higher rank than here. So McDonald's experience, just hanging around the United Cup lot. And I don't know, his hard court results towards the end of the last year, I think he can get through, but Draxl's probably the risk there to take that spot. The next one was obvious in terms of choice, but doesn't mean it'll go that way. blockx, next gen, he was a finalist there, and he's backed that up by winning the Canberra Challenger against Jodar, the young Spanish player, and James McCabe, as I mentioned before. But there's some good players in his section. Shima Bakuro is very good, getting some good form. Mmoh is good as well. Jason Kubler, the Aussie, there as well. And even though Moreno de Alboran is coming back from injury, and I still think he'll win his first round, but Mmoh could be the danger there. But I'm going for blockx. He seems the most obvious pick of the lot, which means he's probably the one who's going to lose first round or qualifying. You know how these things can go. This is a really interesting section. You've got Nishioka, like super experienced, but not the player he was at this point in time. Engel, the young and up-and-coming German. You got Basavaredi from America, young up-and-comer, next gen as well. And Engel and Basavaredi played each other at next gen, with the American coming through quite comfortably. So I've got him coming through here as well. I don't rate Offner. He's coming back. He's barely winning a match. So I've got the American getting through. Quite a few Americans getting through here, and they seem to be in pretty good form overall. Sometimes it just seems to happen with the nation. All right, moving on. I've got Wong to get through from Hong Kong. Just made the quarterfinals in Hong Kong. Yes, he was at home, but there were some really good wins here. And look, Mola is not getting some good results at the moment. I think that probably the danger for Wong may be that first match against Blanchet, but then you've got maybe someone like an Ema or Bolt. I've got Bolt. Even Polman's beat Bolt in Canberra qualies, but Bolt was in amazing form at the end of last year, and it wouldn't surprise me to see him get through. He's qualified for the Australian Open before, has good form there. He could get through here, Alex Bolt, but I think for the quality of where Wong is at, I'm going for Wong at this point. Next one down, we've got Dane Sweeny. Was fantastic in Brisbane, qualified, beat O'Connell, unlucky not to get a wild card. Pellegrino's not in the same form, so I can see him winning that one and the next one. I've got Landaluce instead of Sang there, because even though Landaluce has not been in great form, there's some results hanging around him, and he did play next gen. But there's some, others, like there's Chevalier who's been around the block. Also Kim, who played amazing at the US Open, but hasn't barely played since, maybe one more tournament. So he's a complete unknown, but that's why I've got him going out. But I think overall, I've got Dane Sweeny. He just won so many matches at the end of last year and followed that form at the ATP level this year, so I've got him going through. Another little interesting one, I've got Rodionov. He did make the semis or the final of Nomia. I think the final. He beat Jordan Thompson on the way. Even though Jordan Thompson's not in the same form, still a great result. And he's got some experience about him. He's been around qualies and Grand Slams for a long time. And so is Copillons. And I think Nishikori injury concerns, I don't know. So I've got Copillons getting through. Choinsky's decent as well. Good players in here. Like, who do you go with? Habib as well, played well at the Australian Open before. So this could really be anyone's. I was very tossing up with that last choice here, but I did go Rodionov. Moving down, Wu has been in some great form. What did he do? Yeah, Hong Kong. He beat Marasan and then took Rublev to 3 sets. He's played really well previously. Towards the end of last year, beat Medvedev over in Europe. The Estonian Lajao, I've got to look up that one pronunciation. He is the danger there, I think, for sure. Also, Mejia, who's a clay court South American, played well in Canberra, so watch out for that one. Ferdinand's not the same. Kruger's probably the danger for Wu. They've played each other twice before, head-to-head 1-1, and it was actually close both times. Boyers could get a little result there, but I've got Wu getting through. Then we go down to the old dog Lajovic. I think, he played well in Canberra. He got a couple of wins there. He looked good. And I think in this section, no one else is really screaming out to take that spot. Siebert Wild has not been the same player for a long time. I've got him having a win here, which is a very rare win. So Lajovic, I think, steady experience, a couple of decent wins. I got him going through. Next section, the young Croatian Prismic. Now, Prismic played the next gen finals, but hasn't played anything since. He didn't, do super well there, but it was competitive. So that form seems to be flowing through nicely so far this summer. So I've got him getting through. Clark could get it. Ferry, the Brit, also is a bit of a question mark. He struggled in his first match, but it seems to be getting some decent results since then. Delian, not a massive hardcourter, but can play, so he could do something. Bernie Tomic is always a question mark. He so far, when he rocks up to Australia Open qualifying, I think the whole experience of being in Australia overwhelms him, and he just doesn't really play super well here at the moment, even though he's getting better results overseas. Even his challenger ones aren't amazing compared to what he's doing abroad. So I don't know. He could surprise if he gets a win and get some confidence. He could qualify, and he at least could be in that last round where Ferry is at the moment. But I've got Prismic getting through. This one here, this is a tough one because you've got Billy Harris, who played really well at United Cup. Rodech is good as well. He's got some form. Jodar, the young Spanish guy coming through, who just made the final at Canberra. Then Ash, he has played Australian Open before, was really highly ranked and has dropped down again as well. The young Tunisian who's been coming through with getting great results at the end of last year. Not young, actually, older. He's just making his breakthrough now. But I've got Holder getting through. There seems to be a wild cardness about him, an X factor that I got him getting through. But I really could see a lot of players. I could see Rodech beating Billy Harris first round, but I could see Billy Harris qualifying. Like, it is a really interesting mix there. And we'll see if Hodder has got the chops at this age, because really he should be qualifying for the Australian Open if he's going to be the next best big thing. And the last one here, another interesting one here, Cabeas, Baena, and Jarry got some of the older dogs getting to the last round of qualifying, with Cabeas, Baena getting through. He played a really good match in Canberra against blockx. Going to have that experience and that recent form through. Jarry can't win a match at the moment, but I think his draw is there enough to win that first one, get confidence, and get through. And he could get through. If he has that confidence, he could make it all the way through for sure. Pennington Jones, I think, is another potential one. Dam, as always. Bally is a really interesting one for Belgium. Can be totally on and totally off. So we'll see how that one turns out. Anyway, those are my qualifiers. Let me know if you agree, and I'm sure I'll get most of them wrong. All right.